welcome to a different ranking the victims' deaths of the original Leprechaun movie. And by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there if you are watching this the very first day. I didn't know what I could have done something different with this one here. Maybe I could have done like a bunch of like Leprechaun questions, which I think I did last year, but I probably could have thought of some other ones there. And I was just like, no, this is what I wanted to do for this St. Patrick's Day. This is something I'm going to go a lot slower than I did like with the big three, where maybe every St. Patrick's Day I'll do another one, or if there's not that many, like I actually did, I believe it was last week, with combining Freddy's Dead and Wes Craven's New Nightmare, until we actually finally get another Leprechaun movie, whenever that will actually be. Now, we actually got 4 to talk about in this first movie, and when it comes to the kills in this, and even like maybe the build up to it, they're okay. I mean, they're not really the greatest. I'd say my number one might be my favorite because of how unique it actually is with the death itself. But the other ones, I'm just like, yeah, there's not really a whole lot to really talk about great deaths, at least in this very first movie. I'd be kind of curious, how would you rank all 4 of these, and what do you think about the kills? Do you like them better than me? Do you hate them than me? Do you agree with me? Just give me a comment down below and we shall discuss it. Let's get ourselves started. Number 4 is actually going to be Daniel O'Grady. Now, he is actually the person that we see first. We got this limo going into to a farmhouse there, and it turns out it was actually Daniel. His wife is actually on the porch, and it actually turns out that the reason why he was actually in this limo, other than he's actually rich now, he says, he was actually out to his mother's funeral. So he comes home, and the wife is so confused of how, and he's like, yeah, by the way, it's not my mother's ashes that I brought back. It is actually a pot of gold, or a bag of gold. He actually caught the leprechaun, and he actually puts him in this crate, has a 4-leaf clover. He nails up the box so the leprechaun could not actually escape. After he drags his wife out, he actually did gasoline, and he was going to burn the leprechaun alive, but he starts having himself a stroke. So unfortunately, that doesn't quite work. So fast forward, you got Tori, played by Jennifer Aniston, and she actually goes to the resting home. There's a security guard that's actually sleeping. So she actually looks at what room O'Grady's actually in, and she's walking down the hallway, and then when she finally gets to his room, you see somebody in a wheelchair who may be him, maybe not, and tries to explain, hey, look, the leprechaun is out, what do we actually need to do? He turns around, and it's a leprechaun in the wheelchair, and starts chasing Tori's character down the hallway until she actually is able to get into an elevator. So while she's on the elevator, old man O'Grady actually falls through the elevator but gets stuck. Like, pretty much he's about half in and half out, and he actually explains to her how to kill the leprechaun. And of course, he's all like the leprechaun beat him and bruised. He's like all bloody in the face. And after he explains it to her, he just closes his eyes and dies. And I'm just like, yeah, that's definitely a weak death, and that's why I deserve to be at number 4. Number 3 is actually going to be Miss O'Grady. She's in the kitchen making some tea for both of them there. She hears some noises, and it's actually a little kid's voice. So she actually goes from the kitchen into the living room, and she's looking in the suitcase like, help me, I got stuck in here, I can't get myself out. So she goes over, and I think she even puts her head down first, and then she actually unlocks the suitcase. It slowly opens up. We get the leprechaun's eyes. It actually flies open, and all we actually get is the leprechaun's feet, and he actually is walking fast or running towards her, and she's going backwards, and then she falls down the basement steps and breaks her neck. But I will say I definitely like her slightly better than her husband's one. Number 2 is actually going to be Deputy Trippett. So you got the leprechaun. He actually stole a toy car. He's actually driving down the street. Deputy, who's actually drinking coffee, he's actually taking a bite or 2 of his donut, and here comes the leprechaun driving on by. The police officer stops him and pulls him over. He walks over and says, okay, sir, aren't you a little too young? And Leprechaun's like, I'm like 600 years old. And it's like, oh, so you're a leprechaun. He actually crouches down. The leprechaun actually grabs him in the face. And then this always gets me because the leprechaun sees the guy's gun, grabs it and tosses it. But every time I watch it, even this recent watch, I always think that he's going to grab it and use it on him. He actually lets go of the deputy. The cop actually runs in the woods. At one point, he actually stops behind a tree. The leprechaun is actually catching up to him, and he stops and he's looking around. Leprechaun goes a different direction. The cop waits about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and then he actually runs back which the way he actually came, like he's trying to get back to his vehicle. What actually stops him is the leprechaun's hat, and then we get the leprechaun's voice, and the leprechaun is bouncing around from one tree to another. And at one point, the cop throws his nightstick, and the leprechaun chases the nightstick like he's a dog. So then you get the deputy who's actually running and running and running, and he finally stops by another tree, sits down, and he's looking around for a moment, and he takes a little bit of a breather, thinking he might be in peace right now. In about maybe less than 30 seconds, we get the leprechaun that jumps on his shoulder. The leprechaun grabs his face and then actually breaks his neck. So I just kind of realized now 2 neck breaks in this one. One by the leprechaun, the other one with the wife falling and breaking her neck. My number one, the one I will say I really do enjoy, is Joe, the shopkeeper here. So you got Alex and you got Ozzy, who actually they want to actually show this guy because he's a coin collector, and he's about to close up. I believe it was Alex who shows the coin. The guy unlocks the door, lets him in for a couple minutes, and says, okay, I don't know if this is a real gold coin, but can I keep it overnight? I will definitely keep it safe, and I will give it back to you guys tomorrow, and what the estimate would be on this coin. They actually agree to that. They end up actually leaving to go meet Nate and Tori at this like diner. So the guy takes the gold coin. He's about to try to unlock the safe to put the coin in. All of a sudden you hear a ching 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 ching, and then all of a sudden you get a tricycle that goes by the guy and by the safe, scares him for a moment. He puts the bike on the side. He actually looks upstairs for a moment, then he goes back and finishes unlocking the safe. He opens it up. Here comes the leprechaun. There's a little bit of a dialogue exchange there. The leprechaun actually bites the guy on the leg. The guy goes down, and he's like, hey, you want to play? No, no. And then leprechaun runs away, and he actually is riding a pogo stick, and he goes all the way bouncing from wherever he got it to the guy and starts pogoing on this guy's stomach and chest, and you got blood all over his stomach and chest and all over his face. And I will definitely say I had probably the best time watching that one. Again, it's a simple one, but how many times do you really get people dying on a pogo stick? So I'm sure there might be other movies that's like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Leprechaun was one of the first ones there. Well, there you guys go. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this here, and I will see you guys next time, more likely continuing my Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, ranking the victim's death. So have yourselves a good one, and I will see you guys then. Bye.